If I were the sea, I would love to see you smile at me. Walk the shore a mile with me. If I were the trees, I would love to shade you with my leaves. Clean the air for you to breathe. If I were you, I would love, I would love, I would love. If I were a song, I would love to be a symphony, all together in harmony. If I were the earth, I would love to give you all that you need, but you keep taking more from me. If I were you, I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. And should it be so bad to wanna do something good when this world tries to bring us down? I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. If I were a book, I would love to educate the youth, open minds just by telling the truth. If I were a pen, I would love to write to your friend. I'd be so proud of the love we send. Yeah, if I were you, I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. And should it be so bad to wanna do something good when this life tries to get us down? I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. If I were money, I would love to end poverty. Instead they keep on wasting me. If I were a gun, I would love to never kill anyone, or melt me down and make me something fun. If I were you, I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. I would love, I would love, I would love. Happy Sunday, everybody. You know what I'm talking about. Steve. Oh, he's got it. He's looking. There we go.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everybody, and good morning to all of you out there in the virtual world. I want to say especially hello to Oregon and our good friends up there in Michigan and any place and all around. And for those of you who have been traveling here or there, it's so nice to see you back. And just Sundays are just better when you're here. So it's just lovely. So I'm just so grateful to have you all here as we're getting ready. It's the last Sunday of April. You know what? It's going to be the last Sunday in May before we even know it. But it's the last Sunday of April. Here we are. So finishing up things, I guess, and going on. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm babbling. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Good. Jim, you did a fabulous job last Sunday. I watched the video. It was so good. Thank you so much. And
And just thank you for your graciousness. You're such a valued asset to our community. I just want to say that. So thank you for being here. And I'm sorry that I wasn't here. I'm not sorry that I wasn't here last Sunday. I was having a ball. But I'm glad that you were here. Good morning, Paul. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I don't know if it's on.
It's on.
Yeah,
Just keep talking.
Well. Yeah, I'm just loving the springtime and the renewal and getting ready for summer and all the beauty that holds. There I am. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a really nice thing to be in this expectancy of good as you see that all the flowers and the sunlight and the beautiful rain that we had that contributed to all the new growth that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm. Can we share what you're up to next weekend?
Oh, you know what? Sure.
Look at the camera.
It's very important and exciting in my career. I'm testing for a mastery level 5th degree black belt.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the martial arts world, you never just say I'm doing it, but so I'm pretty sure I'll do well, but we'll see how it goes. I don't want to kind of say that I did it because it's a respect thing,
Sure. So. Hey, we're thrilled that you're there. I also want to acknowledge, where's Mike Popovich? There's Mike Popovich. Thank you so much for fixing the railing there. That was a big deal, and it looks great. You did a good job. I really just so appreciate all these little things that you do around the building here. So it's so good to go. So I just want to acknowledge you for that. And the other person I just want to acknowledge before we get beginning is notice how lovely this sanctuary looks. That is because Wendy shows up about 40 minutes before service every Sunday and just tunes it up and freshens the flowers and does all those kinds of things. So that's, I want to thank you. Mm-hmm. And also I want to acknowledge Mary D. is if you've gone in the Emerson room, if you're looking at other rooms in the place, she is on a tear. What we just said to her is proceed till apprehended, and there's no stopping her now. So just check out the Emerson room. It's a beautiful room right now, and things are starting to happen in the offices. And so I'm just so like Paul was saying, this idea of spring, this sense of regeneration is a lovely thing. And I know we're having a divine dine, and when I last peeked, it seems like half the people that should be here in service are in the kitchen working away. So hopefully we'll work up an appetite and get going on that. But with all that, do I have any announcements? Yes, we have your concert coming up May 21st.
12:30, right after service.
Which is please go ahead.
Yeah, less than a month away now, and with Anna Ballou, amazing jazz singer-songwriter, guitar player, and her vocals are off the chart. And I'll be playing some percussion with her, and then do my own set with my bass player, and do all the love songs that I don't usually get to do here, like the romantic songs and the songs that aren't kind of spirituality based. I'll be playing those after service on the 21st of May.
Nice, a nice little Sunday curtain. So what we're thinking about doing, we haven't figured out yet, is maybe doing a brunch that Sunday. I'm talking like I know we're going to do something. We don't know what we're going to do. Stay tuned. We're going to do something, maybe a brunch of some form or another, so that we can do a little something before we jump in. What else is there? What's else coming down the pike? Anything that anybody needs to know? Yes, Patty.
I wanted to remind everybody of the honor of coming into the gift shop for Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
Today is the 14th. We can get you out the door with a $10 gift. All your wrap is in 5 minutes. So these kids, they don't like to shop. You got it all.
They do. They do.
Just give us this chance of taking and look at our new things and our new business.
So for those of, so Patty, thank you. You were absolutely right. Thank you for that. And by the way, it's worth just a field trip to go in the gift shop. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on in there. There's really, really nice stuff. And for Mother's Day, totally. In, out, one-stop shopping. Everybody's going to be happy. So good to, of course.
I want people to get to know you. That's what we have to share with them, and by bringing them in the gift shop and reintroducing you, we show what we have to
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Anybody else? I'll open to the floor here. Anything else going on here? Good. Sunday morning? Oh, your class. By all means, push it. Go for it. Up here, we can fix that.
So we're still doing the Tao and well-being class in the morning, but I also want to make sure people know it doesn't matter if you haven't been to any of the prior classes. It's totally fine to jump in whenever you want, so don't feel like you can't come just because you haven't been yet. We really look forward to having you there. We have a lot of fun and some great discussions.
Okay. We're good? Paul, let's take us to God.
So what a joy it is to be here, isn't it? Yeah, on the Sunday morning. It's just such a good, refreshing thing for all of us, for the soul, for the heart, for the beauty that we share together. And so now let us just get together in that moment, of prayer. This moment that brings forth a greater sensitivity to this light and love and awareness that is in all things, as it is spoken in Lee's song, that we just love. That love is the language of the universe. It is what brought us here. It is that infinite expression of life that moves through all people, our animals, the words that are spoken today by Reverend Dr. Guy Williams, and all of us here as we gather in this sacred Sunday experience, where we share in the light and the truth of our intentions to deepen that greater experience and awareness of love in all our lives, as we come here together and share in this intention that truly all is well. Whether we're intending greater awareness, security, peace, and love in our lives, we get to simply unite and unify this expression that we know that surrounds us, that is us, and that ought to be done by us, that infinite intelligence by which we are gathered here today. And so for that I give thanks, great gratitude for this experience, for the joy and the peace and the love that we all share. I release and let God. And so it is. And the reading for the week was written by Joseph Campbell in his beautiful book, Pathways to Bliss. And it runs like this. There's nothing you can do that's more important than being fulfilled. You become a sign. You become a signal, transparent to transcendence. In this way, you will find, live, and become a realization of your own personal myth. And now with that, let us simply gather in the loving kindness meditation by which we share this love and this presence with the world, with ourselves, and the people we love the most, and all of us here. And so let us simply just focus our awareness on someone, or even an animal companion who fills you with love. And let's invite that love to enter the heart and really feel it. Let it then fill the whole body. And now, let's say quietly to ourselves, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. may I be happy. And now picture the person or animal in front of you and quietly say to yourself, may they be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. And now, let this loving feeling fill this entire sanctuary. And again, let us say it for the congregation or one person here whom you may be called to pray for. And now let us say quietly to yourself, may they be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. And let us embody that prayer in this 3-minute meditation. And now with peace and blessings, we enter this room with that state of beauty and awareness by which we cultivate in each and every way. And so it is.
is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Love, love, love. Sing along here. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Love, love, love. Sing aloud. Love, love, love. We're talking to the universe here. Love, love, love. Nice and loud. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Always so beautiful. Please welcome the Dr. Reverend Guy Williams.
Morning again. So we are sort of moving through this whole idea of what a season of Easter looks like. And not so much to focus on, what happened to the body and who did what to the body. Because, again, if you look at the ancient literature, it wasn't the focus. The focus was not on the empty tomb. The focus was on the experience of the living consciousness of the Christ. There's kind of a little bit of a feedback, I think, or maybe it's fixed now. On the living experience of the Christ. And what I mean by the Christ is, what we say is, that Jesus of Nazareth became the Christ. But the Christ is bigger than just Jesus of Nazareth. The Christ is that hidden wholeness that exists in all things, that was there at the very beginning of all things and continues to regenerate, make new, bring novelty. It lives in each and every one of us. It's the force, the spirit, the experience of evolution. Ernest Holmes writes this. He says, "The spiral of life is upward. Evolution carries us forward, not backward. Eternal and progressive expansion is the law, and there are no breaks in its continuity. It seems to me that our evolution is the result of an unfolding consciousness of that which already is, and needs but to be realized to become a fact in everyday life." And so, what he's saying, I think, in many ways is something that we understand, which is, evolution is the law of the cosmos. Things unfold, grow, change, adapt, regenerate. That's the nature of things. What he also says is that it has to do with our own consciousness, and he also says that the essence of it already exists within all living things, and all things, really. And it's not so much discovering as recovering that which was lost. So I had this experience yesterday in the gym that had me thinking on this because I was sort of pondering that thought. And I was at the gym, and there was a young woman there. She was I don't know how old she was, I couldn't guess. I would say somewhere between 16 and 25. I have no idea. And she was working out, and she was doing her routine, and I couldn't help but watch her because she looked like something out of a Spider-Man movie. She was like jumping on things and twirling and doing back turns and going on the ground and then jumping back up on these big things. And I was like amazed. And I used to think at some point, I'm just a little out of shape. I could probably do that. But I had this experience yesterday, which was, I ain't ever going to do that. Under any condition will that ever be a reality of mine. And and there's like, when you're just south of 70, you begin to realize that there's a lot of things that just aren't going to happen. And how to find peace with that. And what really is important at the end of the day. Because it's not the fantasy that says I'll get around to it. It's the cold reality that says, not only have I missed that boat, they've moved the harbor. And it's just not going to happen. James Hollis says this. He says, in the second half of life, the questions become, who apart from the roles you play are you? What does the soul ask of you? Do you have the wherewithal to shift course, to deconstruct your painful achieved identity, risking failure, marginalization, and loss of collective approval? No small task. So, that is our community. In many ways, we are those who have matured. And so the real questions now are, and there's that wonderful line from Joseph Campbell. He says, what if after climbing the ladder of success, you find it leaning against the wrong building? And it's that sense that we begin to take stock of who we are in reality to what Dr. Holmes says of all the choices and all the decisions and all the perceptions and all the changes that we have. And at the end of the day, that perception has created an experience of what we think reality is. And in all that, who we see ourselves in that reality, which is a role that we play. But we have become convinced that it's actually us. And what does the soul ask? The soul asks is, can we separate ourselves from the role that we have in the world? Because what is our soul asking us? The essential soul that's asking us is the very volition of evolution itself. And on the spiritual plane, which begins to move from the physical plane and the etheric plane and the mental plane, or the astral plane and the mental plane, beyond all that, who are we? What the great masters are trying to teach us and offer to us is, at the end of all that, as St. Paul says, the same mind, the same consciousness that lives in us is the same consciousness that lived in Jesus as the Christ. It's the same consciousness that lives in the Buddha. It's the same consciousness that lived in the prophet, peace be upon him, because it's the same consciousness that lives in all things. And that consciousness is always striving for a greater experience of freedom, of novelty, of union, of this deep experience of love. And as Dr. Holmes says, as James Hollis says, what the great teachers tell us is that it's more about recovery than creating, because it's already in us. But buried underneath this is layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Thomas Merton says this. He says, there is an instinct for newness, for renewal, for liberation, of creative power. We seek to awaken in ourselves a force which really changes our lives from within. And yet, that same instinct tells us that this change is a recovery of which is deepest, most original, most personable in ourselves. To be born again is not merely to become somebody else, but to become ourselves. The essence of who we are. You know, that idea of self-effacement or debasement is really one of the most dangerous things that we can do. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. You know, there was back in the 90s, there was a book called You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought. And I remember that book because I remember when I was reading that book, and I was reading that book during the AIDS crisis. Actually, the book came out much earlier than that, I think, because it was in the 80s that the AIDS crisis was. But I remember that book during the AIDS crisis. And I remember this friend of mine who had been diagnosed with HIV. And he was one of those high-powered guys. He worked in some kind of advertising corporate kind of thing, you know. High-powered, he was doing all these things. And then he finds out he's diagnosed with HIV. And what he said is, I'm not going to do this. And he took an early retirement. He sold his properties. He moved to Hukumba, if you know where that is. Hukumba is where like all the people that talk to the Space Brothers are. You know, it's kind of like out there. He moved to Hukumba, lived in a cabin, bought a container, you know, those shipping containers, and made a house. And is alive to this day, well and healthy. And he attributes it to this one thing. You cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. And that's what spiritual practice really is. That's what consciousness really is. It's paying attention to what we're paying attention to. And when we find ourselves drifting or going into the weeds, making a correction about it. Lovingly, not making ourselves wrong for it, but just noticing it. But then also paying attention, because you know, our self-talk creates the role we play. I think about that because I think about what it means now in a very real way for a spiritual community, and not just a spiritual community, this particular spiritual community. How do we come back online? How do we begin to not necessarily grow, because my focus is not on growth, my focus is on health. How do we become a healthy community? Because, you know, again, from a biological point of view, but, you know, just from an evolutionary point of view, growth is contingent on health. You know, we're working in our garden a lot. And what we're noticing with our garden is with our plants, because we've had some plants thrive and other plants die, is how do we focus on the health of the plants? Because they'll grow if they're healthy. If they're not healthy, then they won't grow. So the focus is on our garden is on health. And on this particular garden, the garden of the Hilltop Spiritual Center, our focus is on health. How do we become healthy? And how we become healthy is by being aware of what we're aware of and also being vigilant of any negative thinking we may have or habits we slip into or roles that we play that don't edify ourselves or others. I've been pondering this line from Dietrich Bonhoeffer all week, where he says, "There is nothing that we despise in another that is foreign to us." There is nothing we despise in another that is foreign to us. Because we see it in them because we don't want to see it in us. And every time that we despise the other, we're avoiding the recovery work that is in front of us. And what I would also add is this, is that every time we find ourselves in negative thinking about ourselves or about somebody else, we're actually avoiding the recovery work. We're avoiding the intimacy with the divine that we really want to seek. So, in my office, I have received this wonderful gift. It is a quote from Joseph Campbell, one of my favorite ones, where he says, "The cave that you are afraid to enter holds the treasure that you are seeking." Thank you, Eve and Paul. Consider that the cave that we are afraid of entering holds the greatest treasure that we are seeking. And what we're seeking is freedom, joy, love, unity, connection. And what we're afraid to let go of is an image, an idea, a thought, a role. And that when we begin to surrender that, we begin to live authentically. And when we begin to live authentically, we become the presence of healing and love. And it's not up to anybody else except the person sitting in your seat to do this. So, I think about this because I think, what would it be like to be a community that just loves? Not just loves. Love is a fierce thing because love means accountability. It means action. It means more than just a sentiment, but it means a way of being that consciously cuts through the detritus of the things that we have. And again, going back to Joseph Campbell's quote that Paul read so beautifully this morning, there is nothing you can do that is more important than being fulfilled. You become a sign, you become a signal, transparent to transcendence. In this way, you will find and live and become a realization of your own personal myth. We become a realization of a new way of how we see ourselves. And what I say time and time again, because I think it's the most important thing, and I say it again, I say it almost every week, I say it to myself all the time, is this: the truest thing about you, the truest thing about you is that you are the beloved of God. Period. End of discussion. And there's nothing you can do about that. The truest thing about you is that you are the beloved of God. So is the person sitting next to you, and so is your enemy. We become transparent to the transcendence. Religion has given us a bad rap when they have taught us to believe that we are not capable of experiencing the divine within us, and that we are somehow or another lesser than the great teachers, prophets, and avatars. They're the same as you and I. And that's what they're always saying. And how it's done? It's done by entering the cave we fear the most, exposing ourselves. It comes from being brutally honest with who we are. We are a center of divine consciousness within the vast whole. And beginning to live that. So my invitation to us this morning is to pray together with that very consciousness. So let us. So we breathe, because when we breathe, everything changes. Everything changes. We can push the pause button. We can have a new thought. We can release the obsession with what's wrong and focus in on what is evolving, what is coming forth, where we are being lured into. Considering in this vast, expanding, unimaginably incredible universe, cosmos that we live in, there is a unifying presence in all of it. That no name, no religion, no spiritual book contains the answer fully, but all of them point to it. That there is a reason that our heart knows that reason is not it, to paraphrase Pascal. Because we don't reason our way to this. We can't reason our way to God. We experience God by listening. And so we listen to that presence as we listen to the very breath of our own being, recognizing that the breath that lives us is the very breath that permeates all creation. And because there is one life, one breath, really, that we are part of that. We are not separate. Recognizing that there is nothing that we have ever done, nothing that is happening now, or nothing that could ever happen in the future that can separate us from the unrelenting love of God. We are loved, and there's nothing we can do about that. And so we accept that we are accepted. We accept that we are loved. We accept that we are a center of divine consciousness within the vast whole. We accept that we will be guided. We accept that we will be supported. We accept that we are a blessing to all. And so we give thanks in this moment, letting it be. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this love. Thank you for this love, Spirit. Thank you for this love. Thank you for the Spirit. Thank you for this. This powerful, this powerful, this powerful, this powerful love. This powerful, this powerful, this powerful. For this peace, thank you for this peace, Spirit. Thank you for this peace. Thank you for this peace, Spirit. Thank you for this healing, this healing, this healing, this healing peace. This healing, this healing, this healing peace. makes this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. This mystical, this mystical, this mystical, this mystical life. This mystical, this mystical, this mystical life, this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you.
How blessed we are to really get to experience this wonderful music and talk. It's just an amazing time. And this is also now here the time of our conscious giving, where we give from that state of awareness, that state of love that we have realized today and continue to realize through our week, through our lives. And so if you are giving today, simply just hold this state of awareness and consciousness by simply placing your hand on your heart. And know with me that today this gift goes out into that infinite expression of love and life, and that we are fully aware that this gift is the goodness that comes from the insights and the love that we discovered today. And so I am deeply grateful for this, knowing to be that expression of light that fully shines upon us in each and every way. And so it is.
Could we get a couple people to volunteer to carry the basket up? Thank you, Mark. And Mike, thank you. Thanks, guys. So Catholics have communion, we have divine dine. Ours tastes better. But they are both sacramental because both of them speak to the great spiritual truth that a table is set before us and all are welcome. And so I want to give that message to everybody here today. Whether it's your first time, you're all the time, whether you brought food or didn't bring food, there's a lot of food. There is a table set before us, and everybody is welcome. And sharing a meal together, sharing food together is the most sacramental thing we can do. It is so primal. And so I love these opportunities, and please give special love to, let's see, who do I know for sure is in there? I know Anne is working away. I know Kurt is working away. Andra is working away. Clara is working away. Somebody else? Deanna's working away. So we got like a whole kitchen crew getting ready to prepare a meal for you. And it would just be better if you were there. So please stay and enjoy. I would love to get a chance to, because it's so often that I don't get a chance. I just get to shake your hand on the way out the door there. So hang out. I want to hang out with you guys. And I want to thank you all for being here. And Steve, thank you for doing sound today. As always, you are just a stalwart. It's always wonderful sharing the platform with you, Paul, and Jim and Lee. Thank you so much for the music. I want to thank the people that are working in the gift shop, Patty and Sherry, I guess that's in there, and again, Wendy, and all those people that are helping, and Andrea, who is doing everything someplace, and any and all of you. So, as I say, many hands make easy work, and when it's easy, it's joyful. So many hands make joyful work. So with that, let us bless this time together. A benediction basically means that, a good word. And the word is joy. And so we give thanks for all that transpired to set before us this table. The laborers in the field, the earth itself and all its bounty, the sun, the air, the moon, the water, all those elemental things that created the food, and all those hands that prepared the food. And recognizing that as this food nourishes our body, that this august assembly here nourishes our soul. So we bless this time together. We bless this day. We bless this week in the consciousness of good and more good, giving thanks for all of it, letting it be, and so it is. See you in the hall.
I may be one man in the microphone, but I didn't get here on my own. Mama taught me my first song, and brother let me sing along when they didn't have to. We hear it every day. This world has gone astray. They wanna be the first to tell you it's getting worse, but what they don't tell you is people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. When you feel like you can't cope and you're at the end of the rope, just leave your heart wide open. You start to feel that hope. Oh, come on through. Think about how far we've come, the impossible we've done. Compassion, innovation, through every generation. There's people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Hey, you. Thank you. I'm singing to you. Yeah, you. Thank you. To the teachers and creators, to the givers and caretakers, and the prizes 9 to 5ers, we're all just earth survivors. And I feel alive, yeah. To everyone who helped me along, who listened to my song, who made these strings I strung, and who made this microphone. Well, I know who. It's those people coming through, coming through, coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do, but you do. You keep on coming through, coming through, coming through. Yeah, you. Hey, you. Thank you. I'm singing to you. Yeah, you. Thank you. The people coming through. People like you. People that brought food today. People coming through. People like you. Let's eat. Thanks, everybody.